Hey folks, welcome back to MusicalConman plays Slay the Spire. You'll notice we have a little continue button here, and that is because I got about an hour into recording a run last night when all of a sudden my computer just completely crashed. The recording did not save, so although we could certainly continue this run here, you would have no idea how we got to this point. So, for the sake of my loyal audience, I'm going to go ahead and abandon this run. I'm going to lose my win streak, and that's okay. I'm not really that bothered about win streaks at Ascension 3. If I get to Ascension 20, if I can build a win streak, I will be delighted. Or even just whatever difficulty level, if I play at the same level, win streak. So, it is Ironclad time. I just played an Ironclad run, but you didn't see it, so here we are. Let's begin. I'll take a sip of my beverage for the day. Delicious cola product. I know there's a lot of brand loyalty floating around these days, and for those of you who are curious, fascinated, concerned, don't worry. I'm drinking your favorite cola. Hello again. Remove a card. Potions, choose a rare, boss relic. Potions are good for short-term benefit. So it's a short-term benefit, and the reason you want a short-term benefit is if it lets you take a more aggressive path that gets you long-term benefits. For example, killing extra elites would be the obvious option. And so at a higher ascension level, a lot of times you'll take something like random potions that just helps you get through the first part of a run so that you can get stronger quicker and handle the later parts of a run. However, since we're at a still relatively low difficulty level, I think it's almost always appropriate here to just shoot for the moon. So I think here, the highest possible upside. Boss relic could be really good, but I think choosing a rare card really interests me. And this is a very good starter relic. So, we have got an Immolate. 2 energy, deal 21 damage to all enemies, add a status into your discard pile, but a status in your discard pile doesn't matter if you never shuffle your draw pile, because you never get to the bottom of your deck, because all the enemies are dead. So, we're going to take a massive attack, and with that in mind, I think we could have a good shot of taking a 3 elite act. So let's go ahead and get cracking on this path. Alright, Immolate, strike. So that's 31 damage. No, yikes, 27 damage down? 21 plus 6. Strike doesn't deal 10 damage. Next turn, we're going to gain a defend. I think we just... Whoops. Block here. To be fair, Actually, maybe I should have just attacked it and let it hit me, because I do have Burning Blood. But my strategy is if I just fully block until we draw Immolate, then we win. Fairy in a bottle. Nice potion. Definitely makes us even more excited to take a very risky path. Alright. Take a Thunderclap, which is nice AoE, and it works with Immolate, because we can make everything vulnerable. We could Headbutt to get our Immolate back a second time, or we could Sever Soul to exhaust burns that Immolate puts in our deck. That said, we've got 2 good 2 energy cards. I think we need a good 1 energy card. Headbutt lets us... It's just a strike plus, so 9 damage attack, and it lets us put Immolate back on top of our deck. Alright. So there are going to be a lot of fights where turn 1 is very easy. We draw Immolate and we play it. Gold, and... Alright. Anger is nice. It's just damage for no energy. Wild Strike does a bunch of damage with a downside. Shuffle a wound into your draw pile, or Hemokinesis does a bunch even more damage with a downside. Lose a little health. I'm definitely interested in taking one of these to really bring our damage up to the next level. Wild Strike it is adding a status into our draw pile, so if we got some sort of power that interacts well with statuses, then Wild Strike would be good, but I don't think that's a reason to take it yet. I think we are not losing a lot of health in fights right now, so just 1 energy, deal 14 damage. Seems awesome. It doesn't have a downside if we don't lose health otherwise, because we just heal it back up. Speaking of losing health, World of Goop. Let's gather 75 gold, lose 11 HP, go down to 61, which is fine with me. I think I would rather go to another event rather than 2 fights, because one of these would be a hard hallway fight. Then again, if we go to fights, we've got better chances to get potions for the elites. But we are going to have to go to fights later on. I'm going to take one of a question mark here, and remove a card from our deck. Purifier Shrine. Let's get rid of a strike. As you kneel in reverence, you feel a weight lifted off your shoulders. Wow, that's a nasty ribcage looking thing. Is that like a head twisted sideways? Love this game's art. Well, this turn we get hit, but we can make it vulnerable, and then we can deal 21 damage. And that seems good, right? Cool. Plated Armor Potion. Alright, and here's an interesting choice. We could True Grit, which is going to be a nice way to shrink our deck down, get our really good cards more often by exhausting the others. We could Wild Strike, which is another big attack, but given that we already have Immolate, Hemokinesis, and Headbutt, we've got 2 big attacks, Honorable Mention to Bash, and a way to play one of them again. I think Armaments might be good here, actually. Upgrade a card in your hand for the rest of combat. If we upgrade Immolate, it's 28 damage to all enemies, and that's really good. If we upgrade Hemokinesis, it is 18 damage, so I think Armaments is good here. Alright, we were fighting a Gremlin Knob with 103 health. Alright, so I want to make it vulnerable, and Headbutt does more damage, but do I want to put Bash back on top of my draw pile? Or do I want to draw Hemokinesis and Immolate slightly sooner? I think this fight is going to take more than 2 turns, so I'm okay playing Bash more than once. So let's put it back on our draw pile. If we get Immolate next turn, we play that. But if we didn't, we would have played Bash. We are going to just let it hit us and do a bunch of damage. So that's 21. That's 31. Yeah, 12 is just not going to be better than 31 here. So 21 damage, 31 damage. We take that 3 plus another 8, so we take 11. And we probably don't kill it this turn unless we draw something nice. 9, 6, 6, so that is 12, 21. Does not quite do it. Okay. I'm going to Headbutt just for damage. And then I'm just going to block what I can. So I'll upgrade Defend and do that. So it gains strength, but we're still taking less damage than we would have. We're taking 17 instead of 24. And we can kill it this turn. Alright, extra strength. Really nice. Just help us burst down enemies even harder. And Regen Potion. So that'll be good. We'll probably want to use that at the next reasonably long fight. Probably the next elite fight. And let's add a card. Okay. Dark Embrace is a nice power, but we currently don't have any way to exhaust cards. Iron Wave is pretty underwhelming. You can just get better ways. It seems nice to do a little bit of block and a little bit of damage, but you can usually find better ways to do both. Battle Trance is very good. Just draw 3 cards for 0 energy. The downside, you can't draw additional cards, is, it's significant, but draw 3 cards for 0 energy is really good. So, Immolate upgrade is absolutely the best choice against sentries. Since we just fought Gremlin Nob, we are either fighting sentries or Lagavulin here. Against Lagavulin, I probably take Armaments upgrade, or maybe Bash. The nice thing about Armaments upgrade is that it upgrades the rest of the cards faster. But I think I like Armaments upgrade, but I think Immolate upgrade helps us end a lot of fights really quickly. Like, from 21 to 28, 7 damage is a big upgrade, and fights just go away at that speed. Okay. Well, we're gonna do that. And thanks to Vajra, we can just kill that and put Immolate back on top. So, I don't think we're gonna play the Regen Potion this fight. I don't think this fight is going to last very long. And that's why we upgraded Immolate. So we heal up 6 from Burning Blood. We get another Relic Letter Opener. Play 3 skills, deal 5 damage to all enemies. And we get an interesting choice. So, first of all, Letter Opener is nice with Battle Trance because it's free. And with Immolate combined with Letter Opener, it means that we are pretty much set for area of effect damage for a long time. I mean, Immolate alone does that, but Letter Opener just gives it a tiny boost. Berserk is an interesting power. And Vulnerable is a big downside, but Extra Energy is a big upside, and if you upgrade this, it's only vulnerable for the turn you play it. However, the biggest downside of Berserk is that on the turn where you play it, it doesn't do anything. It's 0 energy, and that it's kind of like Outmaneuver, the silent card where you spend 1 energy this turn to gain 2 energy next turn. That's not a very good card. This is a little better. It's especially good if you have a lot of high cost, like if you have a lot of 2 cost cards, then going from 3 energy to 4 energy is huge because you can play them. If you have, or if you just have a lot of card draw, it's very easy to turn all your energy into damage. Metallicize is always good. Another Hemokinesis would just give us tremendous damage. We're going to be fighting Hexagos, so we do need to be able to do a lot of damage. But, okay, I think Immolate and Hemokinesis are kind of solving our damage problem. As much as I'd like another Hemokinesis, I think we are strong enough to start taking in more defensive power to help us in Act 2. In Act 1, you can pretty much kill everything quickly. In Act 2, you have to block. However, I rarely take Berserk, and since we're still climbing up the Ascension ranks, I think this is a really good time to try out a power I don't use often, because maybe I'll find out that Berserk is actually really good. We always want to go to this Elite, so this way we can choose between Question Mark and Shot. Ornamental Fan, play 3 attacks in a turn, gain 4 block. So if we play a bunch of skills, we get a benefit. If we play a bunch of attacks, we get a benefit. So we're kind of incentivized towards anything that helps us play a lot of cards. 279 gold does make me interested in a shop. Okay. So, Mummified Hand is interesting. It makes Berserk better, but we've only got 1 power. However, I'm really interested in Pin Nib. If we can get Pin Nib set up on a good Immolate, that's 56 damage to all enemies for 1 card. So, there's not a lot that would make me not take Pin Nib here. Sling of Courage, It's fine, but it doesn't help against the final bosses. And it doesn't help against hallway fights. And it also doesn't help in question marks or campfires or anything else. It's almost as if it only helps in elite combats, which are important. It lets you fight more elites, but let's go to Pin Nib. And we have 126, so we could do Metallicize or Card Remove, plus True Grit. We could do Metallicize plus Warcry exactly. But I think I like True Grit better than Warcry. Our deck is pretty good. I think I'd like to remove a strike. No, I think Metallicize is better here. I think we're strong enough to start moving for Act 2, and let's add a True Grit. Get a little bit of extra block in our lives. Now that we've upgraded the Immolate, we could upgrade the Berserk to get less vulnerable, or I think we could upgrade the armaments to just get a bunch of upgrades, but... So we just fought Sentry, so we're going to fight either Lagavulin or Gremlin Knob. Our goal is just to deal a ton of damage to one enemy. I think Bash helps us do that pretty well. Honorable mention to Hemokinesis, which just becomes big damage. But I think a Bash upgrade is where it's at for both of those big single target fights. On we go. Yep. Battle Trance into Immolate works pretty well. Gambler's Brew is nice, but is it better than any of these? I don't really think so. I think Fairy in a Bottle gives us a lot of freedom to take risky choices. I think Regen Potion is nice in a long fight. I don't think... I'll think about Essence of Steel. So now we can choose between a Carnage, which is just another big attack. We could choose a Rage. We could choose a Headbutt. If we take Berserk, that does give us a little more incentive to take 2-cost cards. Oh. Rage is nice with Letter Opener, and it's nice if we're playing a lot of attacks with Ornamental Fan, but we are not actually playing a lot of attacks currently. We're playing a few attacks. So we could get another Headbutt, which is not bad here. Or we could get a Carnage just to blast stuff down. I think we get another Headbutt. And I think we skip the potion and fight the Elite. Is there ever a world where I don't want to deal 39 damage this turn and put it back on my draw pile? It would be nice to play Berserk and Metallicize, but I think this is just very good. We are likely to get another potion either from this fight or the next fight, so I think I'm going to go ahead and use the Regen Potion. This fight is probably going to go on a few turns. Do I want a Burn on top of my discard? Nah, I think I want an Immolate. We're not going to play Battle Trance, because then we would draw the Immolate, and we can't play it, so that'd be no good. Okay, so Bash does 11, and Hemokinesis would go from 15 to 22. So it's 33 damage, plus vulnerable for 2 more turns, or just 44 damage. So that's 11 more damage this turn. Do I think making it vulnerable will give at least 11 bonus damage over the next 2 turns? So that's Strike with vulnerable is an extra 3, Strike with vulnerable is an extra 3, Headbutt is an extra 4. Yeah, we don't have a lot of attacks the next few turns. If we had any good attacks coming up, I would say we just bash. But we don't have any good attacks coming up. So let's just deal 44 damage. We will lose a little HP to Hemokinesis, and we will lose a little HP to that. Not willing to play Berserk because vulnerable is a lot. So let's Headbutt the Immolate back on top. We are definitely going to kill next turn, so let's block for as much as we can. And relax. We could wait 2 more turns to try and get that regen for 3 more health, but we need to kill that thing. Eternal Feather is really nice. Heal when you enter a rest site. Okay. We could take Pommel Strike. just another strike that draws a card. I don't think that's super necessary. We have 2 headbutts, so and a hemokinesis. We already have the 1 energy attack thing pretty well covered. That is a strong need early on in the game, and I think we've covered it. And card draw is good, but Battle Trance is doing good work on that front for a while. Heavy Blade, we don't have any strength, so 2 energy deal 14 damage is vastly inferior to Carnage, which we recently turned down. But Combust, at the end of your turn, lose 1 HP and deal 5 damage to all enemies. I do like that. That is going to be a good power in multi-enemy fights and long fights. Okay, so we do have a an ornamental fan. So we could defend for 5, but if we play all 3 of our attacks, we get 4. And if we play 2 attacks, then Pin Nib will give double damage on this Hemokinesis. So let me see, 7 plus 7 is 14. And then this would be 30, so that would be 44. So we cannot kill that this turn. So let's do it like this. Would have been nice to play Combust, but it's even nicer to destroy the enemy for all time. We could play Bash, but I think it's in our... If we draw Immolate, we're in pretty good shape. I think it's in our best interest to block as much as we can this turn. So, Armaments defend already fully blocks. So let's upgrade our Metallicize. Get a little extra block next turn. I mean, Armaments defend doesn't fully block, but it blocks 10, and then we don't have much. Okay. What card could we put back on top that does it? Hemokinesis does it. Headbutt. I mean, we could just draw Immolate. Let's just draw Immolate. Alright, 3 out of 4 odds did not fail us. And we get a Blood Potion. Extra healing. Thunderclap has some potential. Apply vulnerable to all enemies. But we've got Immolate, we've got Combust, I think we've got damage to all enemies and Letter Opener pretty covered for a while. Cleave is the same thing but worse. I think I'm interested in a Burning Pact here. A little more card draw. With Eternal Feather, we are back up to 33 health. And we got great healing potions, so definitely upgrade. I think it's time to upgrade Armaments. This is going to be a long fight, so this will upgrade a bunch of other cards for us. Alright, let's Immolate. And we could exhaust one of these, but let's just... Which would be good, but let's just deal 7 damage. Alright, this seems like a good Armaments. What would we want to put back on top? You know, I kind of like the idea of putting Armaments back on top. It'll just quickly upgrade our entire deck. Might have been a case for Essence of Steel here, but I think we can probably kill it safely. We could upgrade Battle Trance, or we could draw 3 more cards and upgrade them. I think that's definitely going to be superior. I was kind of hoping to draw Berserk this turn, but no dice. Let's play an upgraded Metallicize, and I'd like to make this vulnerable. It's going to be a long fight. We want to boost our damage as much as we can. It also means that we will not draw vulnerable again in this draw pile. So Bash, and let's just defend here. We could become vulnerable, but that's no good. Good chance to exhaust a burn. 43 damage seems pretty good. Let's just do that. We'll take 4 damage from... because that's 8, but we're blocking 4. Our potion would help, but I don't think... I think we can just kill it. Let's get a Pin Nib Immolate off for 58. Vulnerable goes to 87 damage. I think that's pretty much going to solve the fight for us. Alright, bash plus headbutt. Okay, so that's 20, 33. We do not quite kill it, but we almost certainly do if it's vulnerable next turn, so let's just block. This turn it does not have block, and Hemokinesis does exact lethal. Awesome. Ooh, these are really good options, but you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make a quick bathroom stop and come back in a little while. So let me just pause this recording, and I'll be with you in a snap. Oh no, I messed it up. One more time. Okay, that was a better snap. Ugh, all that planning. Alright, so back to our deck. Okay, we get a rare card here. Offering is always incredible. Offering is just pretty much never a bad card to take. Unless maybe you have Mark of the Bloom, which prevents you from healing. In which case, 6 damage every fight does start to look bad. So, okay, fine. It could have a downside. Corruption. Corruption could be pretty good. It lets us exhaust stuff and just start playing our attacks over and over. And so we have 3 powers. They go out of our deck. Once we get rid of these skills, all we have left are 4 strikes: bash, immolate, headbutt, hemokinesis, headbutt, and those are not bad cards. Let's try corruption. All right. Extra elite hunting, extra energy but no gold, extra energy but no potions. So potions are good, but we are lucky to have a full row of potions that we can just keep as long as we need. I love elite hunting, but I think Sozu is the most reasonable choice here. We have 4 energy most of the time, and once we play Berserk, we go up to 5 energy. But then it's just a question of getting enough card draw. If we play Corruption and exhaust all our skills, we would want to get attacks that draw cards eventually, so that we can make sure to spend all our energy every turn. The one thing about using Corruption to exhaust all our skills is that Immolate keeps adding burns to our discard pile, so we would want a Sever Soul to exhaust those. But I think Sozu is still the right choice here. 4 energy is just a really 4 energy on turn 1 is just really important to be able to play Bash plus Immolate. Okay, so no more potions. We could do 3 elites. This act a variety of ways. So this gets us a bunch of events: campfire, elite, campfire, but no that. Elite, elite, elite. So if we want to do 3 elites, we could do it getting 2 campfires this way, and a shop and a bunch of events. This way gets us events sooner and a shop later, but 1 less campfire. I think upgrades are good. And I'm okay even if we can't afford a relic here. Do I want to get corruption in play, or do I want to just do a bunch of damage? I want to get corruption in play. We don't need to Burning Pact this turn. But now we can Battle Trance, which is exhausted. We can Armaments. Alright, and we can just play a bunch of stuff. Berserk, so we'd get vulnerable, but we'd get more energy next turn. That said, we've already played Corruption, so we're probably going to draw less than 5 energy worth of things next turn. We could Headbutt a Bash or a Burning Pact. I think we definitely want to Hemokinesis. I think we definitely want to Headbutt. And let's get back a Burning Pact. Just draw some extra cards for free. Combust is nice, but I think we can end this fight quick enough that we just do Strike Headbutt. And I think we'll be okay without the extra energy from Berserk. Playing 3 attacks did get us a little block there. And, you know what, let's just put a Hemokinesis. No, let's put a Headbutt on top. Because we know we have a Burning Pact. So then we can put a card we like on top and then draw it. If we draw Immolate next turn, we can do that with Immolate, which would be great if we had energy to play it twice, but I'd rather skip the damage this turn. Okay, so it's got 30 health. Let's... It's got 30 health. We don't need to block if it's dead. Oh, come on, Immolate. I really wanted you here. Okay. Well, we're gonna hit a little bit. And that's okay. We're not gonna get hit that much. Boom. Unfortunately, we did use up our pin nib. Okay, we could get another armaments. And it is already upgraded. No Iron Wave needed. I kind of like a Havoc here. Lets us just continue exhausting stuff, get a smaller deck, make it really powerful. I like Evolve, draws us a bunch of cards. With the Immolate, I kind of like a Sever Soul here. Just helps get rid of those burns. Not a huge problem, but we do have 4 energy, so spending 2 energy on something is spicy. So we could Sever Soul and card remove. Get rid of a strike. And we could replace the strike with a twin strike. Which does benefit a little more from Vajra. It's 12 damage, but I think we're okay on that front. Combust is really nice in this fight. Havoc, what do you got for me? I could Bash and Havoc to play Bash again and exhaust it. But I'm kind of interested in seeing what we get here. Hemokinesis, not bad. And we'll get a Combust. Get that letter opener damage. And do we want to block for one more, or... Nah, we want to put a Battle Trance back on top. We'll get this one a little lower. There we go. If we can activate letter opener this turn, that thing is dead to Combust. And we definitely can. Cool. Immolate is... So 29 is going to be halved, so it's going to do 14 damage to each of those, but Combust and playing some skills will do it. Yeah, we're not going to be able to kill both of these without Combust, unfortunately. So we are going to take 1 extra damage from Combust. But they are in fact doomed. Blood for Blood costs 1 less for each time you lose HP this combat. That works decently well with Hemokinesis and with Combust. So let's say 4 energy, this is obviously not the best card. Once it gets down to 3 energy, it's still not great. 2 energy deal 18 damage, is not bad, and after that point I think it starts to be good. So this is bad on turn 1, but I think it gets good enough later on. And once we exhaust our deck with Corruption, Sever Soul, and Burning Pact, I think this starts to be pretty good, because by that point we'll have taken damage a few times. Let's get another question mark. Ooh, remove all strikes, receive 5 bites, lose 22 max HP. So we only have 3 strikes. So we did waste some time removing strikes, but getting a way to consistently heal during fights is really nice. I think this is, even if it adds 2 extra small attacks to our deck, I think this is definitely exciting. Thanks, vampires. Oh my goodness, wow. Well, so we could receive 5 Apparition. Apparitions are incredible, and lose 25 max HP. The thing is, We don't really have any max HP left after that, do we? If I'd known we were going to get the Apparition event, I would have definitely taken Apparition and skipped the bites, because healing is a lot more valuable if you can survive taking damage. But I think 5 Apparition is still really good. So we're going to take both those events. Blood for Blood also works well with Apparition, because it lets you take 1 damage multiple times. Apparition is still kind of good with Bite, because you take 1 damage once and you heal it back up during the fight. So let's get started on that back one. Taking 3 damage will be no problem. As long as we keep drawing Apparitions and we keep drawing Bites, we do a bunch of damage, we stay at full health. Okay, so we're getting attacked for 15 and 24 this turn. So we do want to probably play a Metallicize. Well, no, if we play Immolate, that dies. So we're getting attacked for 15. So we could do a Combust, or we could do a Metallicize. How well do I think we kill these things? We have 4 Apparitions, and we have a bunch of Bites. I think we can heal up damage. I think we can take a slow fight and survive pretty alright. So we'll take some damage, but not all of it. Apparition. And now Metallicize will fully block. Let's get started on that one. Let's put a Blood for Blood back on top. That'll be really good. And exhaust a Defend. Cool. Let's draw a few cards. Alright, we can Corruption and then play everything else. So let's do that. We get an extra Ethereal, and that's going to do a bunch of damage. That'll kill that. That would actually kill that, but I think we would rather... We don't have a ton more Bites, but we're intangible for 3 turns. So I think let's wait a little longer. If we can play a couple more Bites, we'll get up to full health, and our Pin Nib will be at a better number. So 16 damage. And just block a little bit. We don't want to draw these next turn, so let's just draw them. I don't think this is really relevant. Give me a bite. That's a bite. We do have a lot of wounds, but we have 2 bites, and we are back up to 25 health with Pin Nib at a nice number. Nunchaku. Every time you play 10 attacks, gain energy. So with Ornamental Fan, Pin Nib, and Nunchaku, we really like to play a lot of attacks. Sozu blocks the potion. And what do we want here? Apply 1 weak to all enemies is nice. Deal 2 damage 4 times is actually 3 4 times with Vajra. So, but still 12 damage for 1 energy. I really like a Shrug It Off here. It's just a nice front-loaded block card early on, and with Corruption, it's 0 energy, draw a card. So let's get our upgrade here. I think we'd like to upgrade our card draw, probably. I don't think we need to upgrade energy costs. I think a Battle Trance upgrade is good here. We have a bunch of Apparitions, so I think the most important defensive tool we have is just making sure we draw all of them. So we're going to go this path. We could have also gone this path, but it's pretty much 6 of one, half dozen of the other. Actually, this path does have 1 more question mark, so in retrospect, I would have liked to go that way. Well, this is a turn that we can have. I mean, Combust is good, but being intangible for an extra turn is better. Combust is really good in this fight, but we're going to draw Immolate, and we have Letter Opener. So yeah, let's just be intangible forever. Let's see what we get first. Headbutt. Yeah, let's put Combust back on top. I like it now. Apparition, and bash on the big one. I'm totally okay with taking 4 damage because we can heal it back up later, but we want to take the damage first because that makes our blood for blood free. I would like to upgrade these powers. These things... Yep, this will die to combust. This thing is normally doing a big attack this turn, but it's not now. And we're intangible for 2 more turns after this. Let's just get working on the big one. Ooh, big attack. So scared. We are... Okay, let's do a double blood for blood here. We might actually be better off doing bites, but... Oh well. Bite defend. So we could totally kill it this turn. Is it better to heal 4 more health? We do have... Most of our deck is bites, and its health is very low. I think it's worth playing a couple more bites. Okay. Draw me a card, then draw me more cards. Okay, so now we play 3 bites. So we got 1, 2, and 3. And that's 25 health. Oh, we have Nunchaku. Maybe we didn't want to use that up. Or no, we wanted to... Nah, maybe we should have saved that. Mercury Hourglass. 3 damage to all enemies at the start of each turn, so... Another great area of effect relic. Dropkick is interesting if you exhaust your deck really small and you can just play Dropkick over and over. I don't know if that's where we're going, and I think Metallicize is definitely, especially Metallicize Plus, a really good defensive card. Horncleat is a really good defensive relic. Because we have 5 apparitions, so we can block really well for 5 turns early on in a fight. But some fights might last more than 5 turns, so we can use that 5 turns to play a bunch of powers, and then those powers can block really well after that point. Upgrade time. We could upgrade an apparition so that we can save it for later in the fight, but I think our goal later in the fight is to get a really small deck with corruption. To that end, I think we want to upgrade our powers. We could upgrade blood for blood. It's been pretty good for us. No, well, 4 damage is nice. It does reduce the cost so we can play it a little sooner. But this does... Oh, I'm trying to click on Combust, not Eternal Feather. Combust is interesting, but our area of effect damage is super good with Mercury Hourglass, etc., etc. We've talked about this. Let's upgrade Metallicize. Once we have 2 Metallicize Plus in play, 2 block for free, end of every turn is really good. And you know what? I like question marks here, so we're going to go in that direction. We got a Snecko Eye, but we got good stuff to play. Let's play Apparition first, so that this only does 1 damage to us. And Apparition. Also, another thing about taking Sozu here, taking Sozu is nice when we have a Fairy in a bottle, because Fairy in the bottle is one of those things that is best when you hold it for a really long time. Let's become Corrupt. That's going to be really good against Snecko here, which is randomizing our card costs with its powerful eye. So now we can just make a bunch of stuff cost 0. I don't think we even really need the armaments. I mean, it just upgrades a bite. But I don't think we're going to draw through our deck again, so sure, let's do a little more damage. We are vulnerable for a couple turns. Let's draw some cards. Awesome. So Havoc played a Metallicize for free. I don't really need... I'm not really worried about a defend because we have 8 Metallicize. So let's exhaust that. Do we want to draw an extra card? Even if it's an apparition, we can play it. Combust, cool. So, we bite. We blood for blood. I guess we just Sever Soul without Combust, don't we? I had all these cool ideas, but the enemy ran out of health, which is very selfish. Okay, we take a sword boomerang, which scales very well with strength, but our deck doesn't seem to be gaining strength. I mean, it's gaining power, but not specifically strength. Flex? Nah. Twin Strike? Nah. I think we move on. Alright, we could Burning Pact and look for something better, but I'm pretty happy with Apparition, Apparition, Combust, and Bite on the small one. We've got a Pin Nib set up for next turn. We've got Mercury Hourglass doing some work. 16 damage Bite is good, but show me what else you got. We got Intangible for next turn, which is fine. And we will exhaust a Defend. It's good with Corruption. We'll play one more skill to use our Letter Opener, and then our Combust keeps slapping, and this deck is looking real nice. This thing is already dead to Combustion at the end of the turn. So let's just start wailing on this big one. Boom. We could totally kill it this turn. But we could also play more Bites and stack our Pin Nib and Nunchaku, which are both pretty low. So let's do that. Alright, Bite and Bite. Back up to full health. Potion we don't get. Ooh, okay. So Combust is nice. Pommel Strike is an attack that draws cards. So I'm talking about my favorite one last because Offering is incredible here. I'm just trying to think if there's ever a reason we take something else. Either of these might make our deck better, but they are not as good as Offering. It draws a bunch of cards, and it's time to spin the wheel. Whew! Money. What is that, 250? I didn't keep track of how much it is, but we got a bunch. Elite Fight. Yeah, this seems good. Havoc, what do you got? You know what? Havoc could be Sever Soul. And I don't want to play that before I play these, so let's play these first. With Intangible for a couple turns, let's get Berserk. And we used Headbutt on... I didn't see what, it was too fast. The card flashed in front of us, but I guess it had to be Havoc. Because that was the only card in our discard, really. Alright. We are vulnerable for 2 turns, but we are intangible for 2 turns, so it doesn't matter. So let the 5 energy shenanigans begin. What do you got for me? Bite, and on the one I want to bite. We definitely need to kill this thing because it is going to entangle us and prevent us from paying attacks. We don't want that. So we will deal our damage a little inefficiently to Murderize. We have Pin Nib activated. Give me an Immolate. I said... give me an Immolate. We could Offering for the Immolate, but we can't actually draw any cards. So we could deal 34 damage. And, like, that's okay, I guess. Actually, if we upgrade it, it is 46. So that seems pretty good to me. We haven't even played Combust, so we're not even losing health. Do we want to get Pin Nib higher? Alternatively, do we want to just keep Nunchaku at 9? With enough Intangible and just and Metallicize, we can just kill it with Mercury Hourglass. I'd like to have one of these high, at least. We've got only one skill in there. This is fine. And we do not get to block this turn. That's a shame. I was seeing if we... no, wait. We have Metallicize. We are fully blocked. So it dies to Hourglass. Metallicize is a great power. Paper Frog. Enemies with vulnerable take 75% more damage rather than 30%. That was a really valuable relic in a run you did not get to see because the computer didn't like it. Time for our mandatory is this recording check. The answer seems to be yes. Clash? Nah. Heavy Blade? Nah. Clothesline? We don't have any other way to make enemies weak. And we have a lot of energy, so 2 energy is not a bad cost. I think I'm going to take it. What do I want to upgrade here? We could upgrade Clothesline to get 3 weak. I think that's pretty compelling. We could upgrade Berserk so that it only gives us 1 turn of vulnerable, but I think we're probably usually only playing Berserk when we have apparitions around anyway. Let's get some extra weak on that. Alright, champ. What are you gonna do to us? Let's exhaust that. And we'll just armaments, so now this apparition stays around for later in the fight. We immolate, that gives us an extra energy, and we just play defend to deal 5 damage. We don't want to play shrug it off, because we don't want to draw a card that we can't afford to play. If we become vulnerable, that goes from 12 to 18, which we can completely block with defend. So I think that seems reasonable. And defend bite makes sense to me. We are vulnerable this turn, so we're getting attacked for a big number, but we got corruption. We do not have Sever Soul in here, so our skills are safe, so let's go ahead and play Havoc first, see what we get. Metallicize Plus. We don't need to exhaust those, because we are already fully blocked, so let's save these for later. Okay. What is in our deck that we might want to play a second time? We could add another Bash. I think that might be good. I'd like to keep this thing vulnerable. So let's draw a bunch of cards and play a bunch of cards. We got 8 Metallicize, we got a couple intangible. Unfortunately, one of them doesn't really matter this turn. And the other one doesn't really matter this turn, but we played them. Combust would have really helped us get that Blood for Blood in action. We'll get intangible for the following turn. We always want to play Clothesline, and 2 bites deal less damage than 1 big Blood for Blood, right? Yeah, 21 plus less than that. So 49 damage with Pin Nib. So pretty soon it's going to get below 220 health. That's the moment where we are going to split it. We could play a card twice here. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 energy pretty much set. So I don't think we actually need to Battle Trance. And since we have Corruption, we only get Battle Trance once. Let's save it. Although we did get our Nunchaku energy, so we could play Hemokinesis an extra time. Let's put Hemokinesis on top. We are fully blocked. Do we want to exhaust our Battle Trance just to deal... Let me see. Normally 14, but actually 15. But an extra 75% is going to be... 24, rounding down. That is 10% of its health. I would like to deal 24 more damage right here. Oh, but we're weak, so it's 19. Too much math, 5 me. Still, that is 10% of its health. Next turn, we know it is not attacking, so we're just gonna try and do as much damage as we can. If we Sever Soul, the apparition goes away, but our goal is to make the enemy go away before we draw the deck again. So let's just put on some pain. Alright, now it gets tricky. It's going to do a really big attack. And can we kill it? So That is 29 plus 15 is 44. Then another... So 52. Okay, so we might use our fairy in a bottle here, which is fine. That's what it's for. Well, weak is 36. Hold on, we have Pin Nib. It's not quite going to do it, but it's notable. Okay, so we are at 40, and it is attack, but we're actually at 48, but we're actually at 47 from Combust, so we are totally fine here. I'm really glad we took Clothesline. It let us save our fairy in the bottle for a rainy day. Okay, let's draw some cards here. And boom. That's the champ. Ooh, okay. So Brutality is interesting. It lets us lose HP consistently. It lets us draw cards consistently, which... I mean, drawing cards is good. It does nothing on the turn that you draw it, but Apparition helps give us a lot more time to play stuff that does nothing on the turn you draw it. That makes you stronger later. Reaper is always incredible. But when we already have a bunch of ways to deal area of effect damage, and we already have bites to heal up a lot. Reaper heals up way more than bites if you have a ton of strength, but we don't have enough health to do that. So I might actually... This might be the rare time I skip Reaper. Fiendfire is a great way to exhaust things and do a lot of damage. And it would be a way to exhaust our attacks, but I think it's Brutality here. It's a very rare time that I think Brutality is the card. Ooh, okay. Is it Sneko Eye? So this is extra energy, but we can't see enemy intents. This is random, not very interesting bargain basement trash. Sneko Eye, randomizing our card cost is kind of medium. A lot of our stuff costs 1, some of it costs 0. But our stuff that costs 0 usually draws more cards, which could have lower costs. And drawing 2 extra cards is amazing with Corruption. Confusion doesn't matter if you have Corruption, at least for blocking purposes, and Corruption is going to cost less. So I'm very excited about this big snack. We did kill the Sneko this run, so we do get to take its eye. And we're on to Act 3. So we could get 4 events right up front into Elite, but we could do 2 Elites this way. Okay, so there's a 3 Elite path with a couple of campfires. No shopping. We have a zillion gold, so we would kind of like to go to the shop. No, we can go to the shop here. Alright, I think this is the path. Go to all the events, see if we get any really good Act 4 stuff, and... Alright. Thank you, Sneko Eye, for a 0-cost battle trance. Do I want to put Clothesline back on top? I think so. We might be able to kill the 10 and 9, so let's... This has less health. Let's see if we can take that out. Let's draw it again. Okay, the cost is a little higher this time. But... Bite Headbutt does not kill it. Sever Soul Headbutt does, or... Whoops, I forgot that's not upgraded, so it exhausts a random card, but still. We could do Sever Soul and Headbutt something else. I like that, so we are fully blocked. And let's start working on this one. What do I want back on top? I think it's a Battle Trance. Drawing cards is just really good. The card cost is random, so it's just about which effect do we like the most, and we like drawing a bunch of cards. Also, we got a Battle Trance. Do we ever use Pin Nib this turn? We're pretty well blocked, especially if we Apparition. But we're probably not going to be able to beat this fight without using Pin Nib. Let's just draw some cards. I'm fine using Pin Nib to finish this. And there we go. 15 gold and Inflame, gain 3 strength. Anchor is good when it costs 0. It's bad when its cost is random. We already have Hemokinesis. I like an Inflame Plus. Okay. Let's go Corrupt. What do we even want to exhaust? I guess Headbutt does more damage, but Bite costs 0. Okay, Combust, and let's do some biting. Extra energy, but nothing to do with it. Still, we've done everything we need. I want to make sure that we can finish the fight with a bite. So we took 1 from that, we'll take 1 from combustion. If we do this, we'll lose an extra health. I think we can kill it. So that way, bite will get us back to full health. And there we go. Also, we have... I keep forgetting we have Burning Blood. We could totally have gotten rid of Burning Blood at this point. Okay, Burning Pact is really nice. Clothesline is... Another Clothesline is still good, but Disarm Plus is incredible. I should really look at the Act 3 boss here. We are against Donu Deka. Disarm is okay against them. It's really good against Time Eater, but Disarm is also really good against the Heart. And I think that's just going to make it better than any of those other options. Shopping time! Okay. Feel No Pain, I think, is incredible when we're exhausting as many cards as we are. With 512 gold, that's just going to be a take. Raising our max HP is really important right now. I'm rarely excited about Strawberry, but that's a big increase. Proportionally speaking. Is there a copy we want another card of? Yikes. A copy we want another card of? Am I okay? What would we buy for 150 gold? Another Battle Trance is pretty good. Another Immolate is pretty good. Another Disarm might be really nice. Feel No Pain is good, but it's not upgraded. Inflame Plus is nice, but it's not as good as an unupgraded Feel No Pain, I don't think. We could make Brutality innate, so that we get it on turn 1. But if the cost is randomized, we don't know that we want to play it on turn 1. Offering is a great upgrade. It draws more cards, but with Snecko Eye, our hand is already kind of full. So you can see there's a lot of things we might like. No point upgrading anything that just reduces the cost, like Corruption or Havoc, because the cost is going to change anyway. Sorry, we're not talking about upgrading, we're talking about getting an extra copy. What am I doing? So Metallicize gets us extra defense. Disarm is extra defense against the most difficult enemy in the game, the Heart. I think Disarm is better. So let's get an extra copy of Disarm. And let's remove... What do we even want to remove? We could remove a Defend, or we could remove a Bite. Headbutt? What's the worst card in our deck? Every card kind of does something for us. But some of the cards are better than others, right? Are these Defends doing that much for us? I mean, they're triggering Letter Opener, and they're the only block cards we have early on. Is Bite that amazing when our health is so low? We could also just save our gold. But surely one of these cards is worse than the others, right? And it's a long time before the next shot. Oh, I think I should remove something. I just don't know what. Let's remove a Defend. There are much better block cards. Alright, Falling. Oh no. Okay, we do not want to lose Disarm Plus. We do not want to lose Inflame Plus, so I guess we're going to lose an unupgraded Headbutt. And that's an okay remove as well. 2 elites. 2 elites. I like question marks, but 2 elites. Alright, Transient should not be a big problem. I mean, we've got 5 Apparition on our deck, So if we can live for 5 turns, we win. Why not? Let's draw a bunch of cards. Well, it has a little less strength permanently. We could upgrade a bunch of apparitions. I don't see what the point of that is when we could just play them. Okay. We win this fight. So really the only thing that matters here is if we end the fight at full health and if we have our Pin Nib and Nunchaku on good numbers. So 9 and 7 respectively are probably about what we want. And now we just play apparitions. Okay. Let's exhaust a Hemokinesis. Okay, we played a Combustion, which is going to do a little damage to us, but it's fine. So we'll play one more attack. We want that attack to be a Bite. So that Bite will heal us up to 28. We will lose a little health. We will lose 1 health to Combustion, bring us down to 27, and Burning Blood will heal us back up to full with all our numbers on the right numbers. Oh, this is going to take us down to 26, isn't it? That's fine. Because Burning Blood will heal us back up to full, and then all our numbers are on the right numbers. Okay, Perfected Strike, nah. Rupture? Maybe. I mean, we have a Brutality, an Offering. So we have an Offering and a Hemokinesis to make us lose health once. And then we have a Combust and a Brutality to make us lose health every turn. This might be the rare time where Rupture seems reasonable. Perfected Strike, we have no cards that say Strike in our deck. So this is an unusually terrible card. We could replace the Headbutt we lost, but I think I like a Rupture here. I think we can defend against tough enemies really well with all these apparitions, and against the Heart, Disarm is going to be really useful too, but we still have to kill it afterwards, and I think Rupture is going to help us really build that up. Alright, Giant Head I think should be pretty manageable. Unfortunate that we draw all these apparitions early in the fight when they're not really useful. It's not really going to be a big threat, so we could play 2 apparitions, but I think it's better to Disarm and Bash. Sorry, apparitions, this is not your fight. We just need to kill this thing and maybe block for a bunch. Alright. So this draws 3 cards. We have room to draw 3 cards. So our current attacks are 0, 0, 2, 0. So we can actually we might want to play Combust, but I think we can play a Burning Pact here. Let's get rid of Defend. Feel No Pain is nice. I don't think the apparitions are necessary. Let's Combust, do a little extra damage. Gaining strength would be good. Or we could just Bite. We always Disarm. So it's at -6 strength, which is going to help later, and the Metallicize will also help. So do we want to Combust, or do we want to Bite? This does 14 damage. This does 15 over 3 turns. I think this fight is going to go more than 3 turns. We do get an extra energy there. I guess we'll just play an Apparition to get another stack of slow. So now this goes from 21 to 68. So close to greatness, but 1 away, unfortunately. Alright. Corruption or just Rupture Berserk? It is going to start attacking pretty soon. It is unfortunate that all of our apparitions are gone. I think we can afford to take a turn off to get Corruption and Rupture in play. Okay, sorry, 2, so we've got one more turn to chill. Drawing 4 cards seems good when there are 4 powers we really like to play. Also, Havoc is good because it's going to just put in a power we like to play. Let's see what these costs are. Inflame is nice. Brutality, Sever Soul, Clothesline. I'm okay skipping a Metallicize here. We can't draw any more cards. But we could play a bunch of skills just to boost the slow stacks for this Sever Soul, Clothesline, and Sever Soul is going to exhaust him anyway. So yeah, let's do that. Okay, then that's 27, and that turns from 20 into 40. So we're getting there. We're going to gain a couple more strength from Combust, and then another strength from Brutality. Alright, now it is attacking for mini damages. We can block some with Feel No Pain. Can we kill it this turn? I don't know about that. But it's not like we're going to spend our energy on attacks, so let's exhaust a Hemokinesis. Play Defend. Start with our weakest attacks. That's going to be... Immolate is our strongest, so we want to play that last. Bite is our weakest. Then Headbutt. And take a... Well, we probably should have Headbutted our strongest card back on top. But that'll be okay. And we're not taking that much damage this turn. And we got a 70 damage with thanks to Pin Nib. That is actually 119 thanks to slow stacks. So we're going to take a little damage, but we're doing pretty good here. We can play a couple bites, which is lovely. We're definitely going to kill it this turn, right? Yeah, no question. We have 9 strength. So we just play a bunch of bites, and that gets us back up to full health. Bag of Preparation, draw 2 extra cards on turn 1 is incredible. And with Snecko Eye, it's even more cards. Good cost. Carnage is just a big attack that costs slightly less. It's good, but I think we're okay on that front. Let's take another Battle Chance. Plus. I'm going to be honest, I've got some tough choices about what to upgrade, but I don't think that's a reason to just take the lazy option and recall quite yet. That's a useless upgrade. Maybe a useful upgrade? That's a very useful upgrade. Feel No Pain is a really good block card. When you've got Corruption, it's just super strong. Okay, we've got an Immolate, so that seems good. We are nowhere near Pin Nib, so we're going to play it. And we're going to hopefully play it again, depending on the cost. No luck. Alright, well, let's just do a couple of bites. We're not terribly far from Pin Nib again, but we are too far to Immolate. Okay. Lots of options here. There's Offering. I think Rupture is too expensive to play here. We do have a lot of block, though, and we do have an Apparition. But we can't Rupture Apparition. Offering just gets us more cards, and it is energy neutral. Feel No Pain, Apparition, and Disarm or Berserk seem very good. Disarm brings that down. Minus 6 strength, so that's 10 times 2. Yeah, it's still kind of risky. Let's Apparition. Well, hold on. We have Feel No Pain, so it blocks for 8. So that brings us to 22 blocked. And we'd be attacked for 29. And it has less strength for the rest of the fight. That is a lot of damage to take when we have no health. Tough choices. Disarm is really valuable over a lot of turns, but I think we just want to kill it quickly. So let's just take a damage from that. Set up a pin nib for next turn. And we can still play one disarm. I think that's better than Berserk here. Nah, Berserk is good. Berserk helps us make it more likely that we can kill this turn. Give me some cards. Corruption, good. So we don't need to worry about that anymore. Do we want to pin nib this, or just pin nib the bash and get a clothesline in? I think that works just fine. Our Nunchaku is gonna go away, so let's just play as many attacks as we can. Free power draws extra cards. Our bottom card is metallicized, so yeah, Havoc is just metallicized for 0 energy. Get another intangible. Combust loses us a little HP, but I think it's still good here. Same for Brutality. And let's just blast down the big one a little more. We are safe for a couple turns, so we would like to play a couple bites. Let's draw some cards. Let's bite here. We are almost up to full health, but not quite. We're not intangible next turn, but it's almost... Yeah, next turn we're going to have Mercury Hourglass plus Combust, so no matter what, this thing dies next turn. We're going to play Blood for Blood just to get our stuff up to higher numbers. Whoops. We triggered Letter Opener, so it's dead before we get to play another bite. Bag of Marbles. Vulnerable on turn 1 to all the enemies. That's going to be really nice to the non-boss fights. Ooh, Demon Form. Way to gain a bunch of strength. But Combust plus Brutality plus Rupture is a Demon Form eventually. Still, with Snecko Eye, this costs a random amount, which is small. Or Feel No Pain plus Blood for Blood. I'm sorry, but you are between two incredible cards. So, what do we need to kill the heart? Or just to increase our chances of killing the heart? Do we need more defense, or do we need more offense? I think Feel No Pain Plus is incredible. And with 2 Metallicized Plus, 2 Disarm Plus, and 1 Feel No Pain Plus, and a Corruption, I think if we can't block with that, it means we're killing it too slow. So let's make sure that we're killing it fast enough. We take the blue key here. Pair would be incredible to get us a little more axe HP, just to make sure that if we get a really bad draw, we're not wrecked. But that's also what Fairy in a Bottle is for. We could get 1 more campfire, 2 more campfires, and then a shop. So this is clearly the best path. It also has a question mark. So it's upgrade time. What do we want to upgrade? Upgrade Demon Form. I think that's a pretty easy thing. All the other upgrades are nice, but Demon Form helps us against the toughest fight in the game. Corruption. Turn 1. Cool. Apparition. I guess we can Feel No Pain. Yeah. Rupture. Sure. Draw a bunch of cards. Sure. So, we've won this fight. Yeah, I mean, this is cool, I guess. Yeah. We got some good cards on today. We're intangible for a while, so that's fine. How likely is it that we can kill these without playing more attacks? Not very. So we want to play as many attacks as we can. That probably means playing them on the small ones. And playing our small attacks. Sorry, Demon Form. Totally could have played you, but we're just on cruise control through the rest of the fight. Because stuff like this. It would be nice to have Nunchaku at 9, but I think we can have them both pretty high. Okay, it's not going to block this turn. 4 and 2 is good enough for me. Yeah, Shockwave Plus is a really good card, and neither of these are a reason to not take Shockwave Plus. We have Paper Frog, so vulnerable is great. We only have one source of weak and one source of vulnerable in our deck. Berserk does not count. Bag of Marbles doesn't really count. Shockwave Plus is great, and Snackaway makes it cost less than usual. Our best upgrades are probably just card draw. Berserk upgrade is actually, as long as we're intangible on the turn we play it, we don't have to be afraid. But I think card draw is more valuable. True Grit lets us exhaust the thing we want. I think right now, our deck is strong enough to win against the Heart, so now we're just trying to get rid of the ways we could lose. I think one way we could lose is if we play a risky Berserk. Alright. We just double Apparition. That way we know we're safe next turn. Cool. Reducing its strength is very good. Getting another intangible for 0 is obviously sweet. Getting a bunch of vulnerable on it is good, and 1 extra damage from Letter Opener against its intangible bod. Alright, this turn it is not attacking, so we could play a bunch of attacks. I think we're beyond Rupture right now for this fight. We like Demon Form. And do we like Inflame or Shockwave better? I think Shockwave is a clear winner. Because then we can also do an Italicized Plus. 33 damage. Next turn it attacks us pretty big, but we've got good odds of getting an Apparition, and we have Metallicized, and it's weak, and it has -6 strength. So we are in all respects blessed beyond blessings. Do we want to start exhausting our skills? I think the answer is yes. We're hoping to kill pretty soon. What do you got for me? Clothesline. Well, it's weak. We'll upgrade these attacks. We want to save our Pin Nib for next turn when it actually does damage, because it is intangible right now. So let's gain some block. Sorry, Bite Plus. I know we just upgraded you. Alright, we take 11 damage. That is okay. Big shout out to Strawberry, making that more okay than it was yesterday. And hey, look, 0 times 3, thanks to double disarm. We don't need Feel No Pain this turn, so let's just draw some cards and see if we can kill it. Okay, we are intangible next turn. That's a clear win. Drawing a card next turn. We don't need to block next turn. We just need to kill it 2 turns from now. So 49 damage, thank you, Pin Nib. Oh, I didn't really do the math. We could just kill it. But wouldn't we rather play some more bites? Our health is kind of low, and we've got Intangible and Metallicize. Let's try and get a little extra health out of this fight. Okay. We are losing 1 health every turn from Brutality, but as long as we're getting more from that in bites. Get rid of a burn. Let's get some cards. Get another bite. Pretty happy with that. And next turn, we have 9 cards. We are drawing 7 of them. 2 of them are attacks, and 2 of them draw us attacks. So, unless... Let's see. As long as we don't draw no attacks, and our draws both cost 3 energy, and our attacks both cost a ton of energy, we are guaranteed to kill. And even if that happens, we've got a good amount of block. Lose 1 to deal 1? I don't see why we would do that. Lose 0 to deal 1, I'm okay with that. I mean, it doesn't matter, we have 10 strength, so if we get an attack, it's dead. Oh, 0 times 3, so we're actually totally fine. Alright, let's heal for 2. Gambling chip. At the start of combat, discard any number of cards, then draw that many cards. With Bag of Prep and Snekoi, we're drawing 9 cards turn 1, and with Snekoi, they'll be randomized costs, so we can just keep the zeros. Dark Embrace is exactly the power we really want to see here. Whenever a card is exhausted, draw 1 card. That is incredible with Corruption and our other stuff. I am going to turn this music volume down a little more. Or maybe I should just turn my own headphones volume down. Whoops, not mute my headphones. Yeah, my headphones are at 90. Do we want to go to a shop or a fight here? Let's go to a shop. Okay. It's a little late to be gaining gold. I do love Hand of Greed. It is a very greedy card, and I love very greedy plays. I'm out of my refreshing cola beverage of your favorite brand, so I'm going to try a little sip of my water. So, we got some good options here. Shrug It Off is good. Brutality? I don't know if we need Brutality. Like, it's good. It's good with Rupture. It's good later on. And we've got apparitions that give us time to play it. It's good. Meal Ticket, nah. Centennial Puzzle could be good. But that's probably going to be on turn 1 in a lot of fights, and our hand is going to be super full. Because if we have Offering or any of our other stuff that loses HP, or on the Heart, if we just play a card before blocking. I don't know. Entrench could have some value when it costs 0 from Corruption. But Entrench is really best if you have Barricade, the Ironclad rare power that makes it so you no longer lose block at the start of your turn. With Barricade, you can just build up to like 50 block, 100 block, and then you entrench and that goes to 200 block, and you just keep it forever. It's really good. So we could card remove, or we could Orrery to try and get really good new cards. Our deck is super good. Honestly, the worst thing that can happen to our deck is if we just don't draw our super good cards fast enough. So I think the best thing to help with that is to just remove our worst card, which at this point I think is a Bite. With Sneko, our 1-cost things aren't great. Let's recall here. You know what? I took a lot of, not a lot, but a little bit of risk to heal up in playing Bites against that elite fight. When we have Eternal Feather and we were up to full health from the campsite anyway. Okay. We have our favorite stuff on turn 1. We have Shockwave, we have Demon Form, we have Corruption. Combust is not bad. We have 1 Apparition, and it costs 1. So I think let's do that. Okay, so we're going to spend 1 on Corruption, 2 on Combust, 1 on Shockwave. We'd rather play Combust or Immolate? We'd rather play Immolate, right? So let's get something new. So we got 4 energy worth of really good stuff to play, and maybe we'll get stuff that's even better. Okay, Corruption is a must. Sorry, Shockwave costs 0. So yeah, Apparition, Demon Form, Metallicize. Shockwave is going to do... the weak will not happen, it'll just remove the artifact charge, but then it's 5 vulnerable, which is a lot of vulnerable. And this will do, instead of 29, half 29, rounding down is 14, so 43. Sorry, 50 damage? Hold on. Where did that do? Wait, 20... Oh, Paper Frog. 75% more. No need to play these because we're already fully blocked, and we don't want to exhaust them in case we might want them later. Honestly, I think we're going to beat these bosses before we get through our deck. Ethereal, Ethereal. We don't lose any HP at the start of our turn, so Rupture is just less good than Inflame, but is that less good than 38 damage now? Maybe? We also have Demon Form, so like gaining strength is not going to be an issue. We could also just Metallicize. I think if we keep gaining strength with Demon Form, we're just going to get... We're going to be able to kill these super fast later. Vulnerable with Apparition. Cool. We're planning to kill this one first, so let's disarm this one. But let's Dark Embrace. That's Havoc. Feel no pain for free. Awesome. And playing a power does not normally count as exhausting it, but I guess Havoc always exhausts the card, even if it's power, which means we drew a card. So that draws a card. So, do we even need to draw that many more cards? We don't need to draw that many more cards this turn. Well, let's deal a bunch of damage. And call that good. There's no point drawing cards if you don't have the energy to play them, unless your deck is bad stuff that you want to get rid of. But our deck was good stuff. Speaking of good stuff, minus strength there. Armaments will reduce the cost of this, and it'll make these better, and it'll make this draw an additional card. I think that's good. Oops, that was a pin nib. Okay, this fight is pretty much won. What do we want back on top of our draw pile? Battle Chance? Battle Chance for 0 is pretty good, which means we don't need Brutality, and we can just Sever Soul for 56 damage. It does... Oh, dang it! I forgot, exhausting cards would draw us cards. That's okay, this fight is going to be fine. We just got to deal 100 and a bunch damage. I don't think that'll be an issue. So, yeah, and I think we'll get these up to good numbers naturally. What do we even just put back on top? I don't care. Let's win. So 6 and 4 are okay numbers. On to Act 4. This deck is great. 1,000 damage to the heart. A door? Wow. Never could have predicted this. Alright, upgrade time. Innate? Maybe. Cost reduction, irrelevant. Cost reduction, irrelevant. More card draw, good. More card draw, good. I think we're upgrading our card draw in some way or another. So it's either making this innate. But on turn 1, we have so much stuff we want to play more than Brutality. Unless this costs 0, it's just not likely that we want it. Let's upgrade Burning Pact. Turn 1 is crowded. Burning Pact we might draw later. Shopping time, I doubt we can buy anything. We could get a flex and we don't want it. We could get a feed, but I think it's a little late. So we go on to the Act 4 elites. We keep these 3 potions for the heart fight. Alright, our bag of marbles, not our bag of preparations, silly me, is going to remove their artifact charges. So what do we want to do this turn? We could just Demon Form, do a couple of apparitions, a disarm. Berserk is also good. Demon Form turn 1 is too good to pass up, right? So we're gonna do Demon Form, disarm, 1 apparition. I think I'd rather play Berserk or Metallicize than another one. But we could also Armaments to make the apparition... Well, we could Armaments so that we draw the apparition later. But we could also just get the apparition out of here so that we draw it later. Yeah, we're not playing Armaments. Which one of these are we playing? Berserk or Metallicize? Probably Berserk. So let's just look for 0 cost stuff. We did waste an apparition. That's okay. Demon form. Disarm the one that multi-attacks. Apparate. Bite. And Berserk. So, this is a little risky. No, wait, we're getting one vulnerable, not two. That's why we upgraded it. So next turn we are not vulnerable. 2 damage is also known as a bite in waiting. This would normally you attack for 10 times 4. How about 4 times 4? Let's draw a bunch of cards. Corruption time. Alright, that's the fight. Now we can just play all the skills we want. We got Feel No Pain, which is incredible. Bite doesn't do any damage, but it heals us and it ticks up our numbers. We're fully blocked. We don't need to draw cards. We don't need to get rid of those. Maybe we want to get rid of Defend. Alright, Dark Embrace seems very good. We've got 1 apparition in there, and we are probably going to draw it. Combust seems like a good target to exhaust. Shockwave. Apparition. Rupture. Can we kill this one this turn? With Vulnerable and Pin-Nibbed Blood for Blood? Yes. 48, but actually 84. Didn't even have to do the math because it was big. We got an achievement. What did we even get the achievement for? It's powerful. Have 10 or more buffs during combat. Yeah, we do have a lot of buffs. Look at all those. Cool. Okay, so this fight is 1. So let's get our Pin Nib up to a bigger number. Draw some cards. And Clothesline. Alright, so as long as we can just keep playing smaller attacks, so I guess that's just Bite. That draws a card. That draws a card. Bite. Bite. Dang it. Torai. Whenever you would receive 5 or less unblocked attack damage, reduce it to 1. So now, with Disarm, the Heart's multi-attacks are going to be attacking for less, and Torai is going to reduce them to 1. So the Heart has 2 attacks. It has the big attack and it has the multi-attack. The multi-attack we are pretty much safe from for the entire fight now. Hopefully we can get apparitions on the big ones. Heavy Blade is a good finisher with Demon form. I really love Disarm. Disarm is great. And it exhausts. And it benefits from corruption and all our other stuff. Heavy Blade is a good way to just end the fight. We have a ton of strength, but we don't have anything that just deals 100 damage. Because if we gain, you know, let's say we play Demon Form, we play Rupture, I think it's pretty reasonable to say that after we've had this for a few turns, we've had Rupture for a few things, we've had an Inflame Plus, I think it's pretty reasonable to say we get 10 or 15 strength. So, like around the midpoint of the fight. So let's say 15 strength, so that goes from 14 plus 15 times 5 is plus 75 is 89 damage. Then with Pin Nib, that's 188 damage. No, sorry, 178 damage. I was just doubling 90 to 180 and subtracting 2. That's how I do this quickly. So 15 strength. If we get Pin Nib, that's 178 damage. If we get Vulnerable from Paper Frog, Vulnerable and Paper Frog, that adds another bunch of damage. So this could deal 200 plus damage pretty easily. Disarm is awesome against the multi-attack. I think we're doing really well against the multi-attack. I can't believe I'm turning down a Disarm, but we need a big finisher. If this fight goes on for too long, we run out of things we can do. Okay. Lots of good zero-cost stuff. I don't think Rupture is good enough. Rupture is nice on turn 1, but not for 3 energy. And there's so much good stuff we want. Okay. Apparition is not doing anything for us, unfortunately. We're going to defend first. We're going to Feel No Pain. We're going to Bash. Let's Havoc. We got a Brutality, so Havoc is always nice when it hits a power. And I think we just disarm. And the clothesline? We're not going to play the apparition, so let's draw some cards. 0 cost apparition is better, but still not useful. Okay, lose some strength and clothesline. I mean, Metallicized blocks for 4 every time it's attacking. Disarm blocks for either 3 on the big attacks or 36 on the times 12 attacks, so I think that's an easy choice. And we'll play that, why not? Bunch of statuses. We're getting attacked for 41, but we really want to play Dark Embrace, but early demon form is very important, and apparition blocks this turn, and we are waiting for corruption. Corruption, very good. I guess we could do our plated armor. Yeah, 0 times 12, I'm okay with that. We could go Berserk. Do one of the apparitions. Well, we can't play 2, and we don't need one this turn, so both of these are unfortunately completely wasted. So let's go Berserk. Disarm. Inflame. And all of these are going to waste anyway. Well, these are going to waste. We want to get rid of the wound. So let's just do a little damage. Take our pin nib up. That does block for a bunch. Not that we need it. Alright, we're up to 7 strength. We've got our corruption. I repeat, we have got our corruption. So let's apply a bunch of weak and vulnerable. We are going to take a bunch of damage from Beat of Death, but luckily we have bites, so it's okay to take a bunch of damage. We even had Blood Potion to heal for 6, eventually. 224. So, remember when I said this could deal a bunch of damage? I'm not saying you didn't believe me, but I'm just saying I'm happy to demonstrate that it does. We've already dealt the maximum amount of damage you can possibly deal to the heart, but all of these cards... Emulate is okay, Armaments is okay. 3 of these really suck. So let's draw these. Get them out of our deck. We could play the Armaments to get it out of our deck, but I don't think we want to do that. As long as we can get Dark Embrace, any skill is just free gain block, draw a card, thanks to Feel No Pain and Corruption. And we've got Dark Embrace, so like, yeah. If we do Dark Embrace before Corruption, it draws an extra card, but if we do Armaments before Dark Embrace, it costs 1 less. So the cost is randomized, but Dark Embrace still costs 1 less than... Dark Embrace Plus still costs 1 less than Dark Embrace? Wait a second. No. So it didn't reduce it by 1, it created a new card, and that new card costs 1, I guess. Dark Embrace Plus costs 1. So if the original Dark Embrace costed 0, if we upgraded it, would it go up to 1? Fascinating. Anyway. Bunch of damage. Draw. Yikes, that's actually too many cards. I think we want to clear hand space. So let's play an Immolate for 71. Let's draw a bunch of cards. I think we can probably kill it next turn. Italicize. But we'd like to avoid using our Fairy in a Bottle this turn if we can. Okay, we don't have to use our Fairy in a Bottle. We get to use a Heavy Blade for big damage. And we can put the Heavy Blade back on top of our deck to guarantee that we kill next turn. Cool. We are fully blocked. And that is a heart fight. I hope you enjoyed this one. If nothing else, I hope this run has really showed you the true power of Corruption. Let's gain a little block. Can we finish at full health? Not quite. Alright, end of the run. And this ought to get us our final Ironclad unlocks. Chop. Climb. And... whoosh. Now the Spire is ours. 1628 is more than enough to get the last unlock for the Ironclad. What is it? It is Relics. Blue Candle. Unplayable curse cards can now be played. Whenever you play a curse, lose 1 HP and exhaust it. Usually not that exciting, but it can be nice for Ironclad. Sometimes you want to lose HP, sometimes you want to exhaust things. I mean, it can be nice for anybody. If you have curses in your deck, you just usually don't want to. Then here's 2 real kickers. Singing Bowl. When adding cards into your deck, you may raise your max HP by 2 instead. So every time you're doing card adds, you can usually choose one of 3 cards or skip. And whenever you skip, you get 2 max health. So basically, you usually have 4 options. This makes one of them way better every time. And finally, Dead Branch. Whenever you exhaust a card, add a random card into your hand. I want you to imagine Corruption. Skills cost 0. And exhaust. Dead Branch. They add a new card into your hand, which has a decent chance of being a skill that also exhausts to create a new card. That could be a skill that exhausts, etc. Dead Branch can be incredible. It's also good on Watcher, where you can play your miracles. You get a miracle every fight that turns into stuff. It's also good on Silent, where you can make a lot of shivs. It's okay on Defect. I mean, it's almost never bad, except with Runic Pyramid, where you might fill your hand with cards you don't like. Anyway, that's the run. I hope you enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun with it, and I will see you next time.